Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Sports. Massive news on a Friday afternoon. Andre Pollard set to join the Bulls next season. A breaking news story coming out of News 24 saying that the club has officially won the bidding race for him. He has signed a contract which apparently could be worth 15 to 20 million rand in salary a year. And they managed to beat out the other contenders and bring him back to Loftus, where he made his name, really, in Super Rugby in those years. And what a signing it would be. I mean, this is the key to that Bulls team. It really is. It's the big position at the moment where they're really struggling. And I think this is the perfect kind of candidate to get them over the line. So before we sort of talk a little about too much about what's happened, where he is, and sort of the other clubs that were in line, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. So the story is broken about just less than an hour ago, actually. And it was broken by Simnakiwe Kabanisa, Sims as he's known. You might have seen him in Chasing the Sun and the likes of that. Very reliable journalist and therefore a very reliable source. And the article says that News 24 has reliably learned that back-to-back World Cup winner, having been linked with a move to Japan following a reported bidding war of service of up to 10 clubs when he comes off contract at Leicester in June, has signed this week to return to where it all began for him. You know, he's one of the biggest players in the world, you know, in terms of how he gets paid and the profile and the likes of that. And the main thing for the Bulls is this is the position they've been desperate to fill. And I think this is the perfect candidate as well. You know, the Bulls in the last few years have been coming unstuck at the key points in the games. You know, the semifinals, finals, finding, you know, that last sort of gear, that person to sort of navigate through the key games. This is the man you want. Andre Pollard is Mr. Ice Cold, isn't he? He is the ice in my veins, you know, Mr. BMT type of thing. And it's exactly what the Bulls need. And this is also a huge thing for SA Rugby on multiple different levels. First of all, from a Springboks point of view, it's big because they get to managers' time. You know, they don't really like players being in the Premiership because we've got a very good relationship with Japan, for example, and that's quite nice from a workload point of view. But top 14 players and Premiership players, even other URC teams players, we don't have that kind of access and control over the players that we like. So with Andre Pollard coming back to the Bulls, for example, SA Rugby can now manage his workload. He'll have mandatory time off, where he'll have to rest to the likes of that, and they can also make sure that he's not being overplayed, for example, and they can really help manage his game time. And that's a huge thing because he is 30 years old, so he's not old, inverted commas, but he is a senior player, and you need to make sure that he is being managed properly, or else he's not going to get to the next World Cup in the kind of form that we'd like to see him. You know, he should be fine. He's 32 years old. It's not going to be old, but he has had lots of injuries. The next thing is it shows you that we can bring some of our best players back. And we saw it with Sia Khaleesi coming back last year. Was a huge thing for the Sharks. Now Pollard coming back, you know, and that's a big boost to our local sides, which shows you that they can bring back current Springboks. They can pay the big bills, and it bodes well for the future because I think, you know, whether this is, you know, because they're suddenly going to have URC money coming in, EPCR money coming in soon, and that's kind of all tying into bigger budgets now for our local unions. It just shows that they can afford these type of players. Now, he's rumored to be on 15 to 20 million rand a year. I'd be surprised if it's anything near 20. My guess is that SA Rugby are contributing a lot towards the contract. He is a pony player, so they make a contribution towards his salary. And I think that'll be a big contribution because when you think that our franchise budgets for salaries is less than 80 million rand, you can't go spend 20. You can't go spend a quarter of it on one player. So it won't quite be those kind of numbers from the Bulls itself. Maybe overall his package with the Springboks and the likes of that could be something similar, but it won't just be his Bulls package. But that's not the point. The point is that the Bulls and the Springboks between them have got the financial power to be able to bring him back. And the question is now, what other players can bring back? But in terms of what it means for the Bulls just haven't had fly half at the moment. You know, they've brought back Jack van der Walt from Scotland. He's been very underwhelming. They brought Buddha Chamberlain from the Sharks. He's been very underwhelming. To the point where that knee injury to Jan Goosen, who's not had his best season, has meant Billy LaRue playing at 10, who's been all right, but very much a makeshift number 10. You know, not an out-and-out fly half. And it goes to show how important it is to have that kind of depth. And if you've got Pollard being, you know, backed up by Goosen, and then you're going to Buddha Chamberlain and or Jack van der Walt and the likes of that, that's the kind of depth you need to win tournaments. And that's the kind of depth you need to be able to play in the EPCR long term. You know, Jake White's spoken about the fact that he needs to build a higher base of players So that's the thing, in terms of depth. Andre Pollard comes in, that's your first choice. That suddenly means that Johan Goosen is a second choice flower half. And you've got that pedigree as your second choice. You then got better pedigree as your third choice. So it's about building these squads so that your sort of lowest level is significantly higher so that you can afford to rotate and still remain competitive. Let me know what you think of this move down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.